sorry.
What have you got to be sorry about?
For you, I'm sorry for what you're going through.
Don't be, really.
Fine. So what the fuck can I do for you, Mr. Gordon, or are you just here to waste my fucking time?
I'm sorry?
You're sorry? Jesus Christ, make up your fucking mind.
There's no need to be so aggressive.
Right.
I was just saying you don't have to be sorry for me. It's not me that this is happening.
Right. I went too much the other way, did I?
Yeah, a bit.
Professional neutrality.
Is that...
Professional neutrality for me, is that... Would that be more the kind of approach you're looking for?
I'd be comfortable with that, I think. Let's give it a try.
Absolutely. So, your father's dying.
Yes.
He's taking quite a long time about it.
I don't know how long he's supposed to take, but it feels that way, yes.
And you've discussed the alternatives with him? You know, it's perfectly normal to make him aware of his options. He's in pain.
Not much. There are drugs.
And you've discussed the alternatives?
Yes, he doesn't want to. He doesn't seem to want to die until it's absolutely unavoidable.
Yeah, well, who would? Especially with the pain relief available today. You know, I often think the problem with dying is it's got to be too much fun. Or at least there's part of me that thinks it should hurt. Don't you agree?
That's fucking horrible.
Is it? Extreme, unbearable pain? The kind of pain you'd do anything to escape from? Self-termination? Whether through external influences or simply shutting down? And that's the kind of pain that tells us that the game's up, isn't it? Surely. It's natural.
Just because it's natural
Doesn't mean
that
we have to let it happen, I know. But you see what I mean? So, what do you think when you look at your father?
I don't know. I remember, I suppose, what he used to be like. How strong he was. It's funny how big he used to seem. When I was a kid, he used to lift me up. I mean, right up, above his head, right above. And I can remember it, and I don't have any memories before I was around 4, which is late, I know, I never known why, but if I can remember it, I must have been pretty big. There was one time in the local park...
All right, if I could just stop you for a minute there, Mr. Gordon.
John.
John, I asked you what you think, not what you remember. Two very different things.
I think about memories.
No, John, you remember memories. If anything, you remember them in an attempt to ignore what you're actually thinking. So honestly, what do you think?
I think poor bastard, I never let
myself get in that state.
Yeah, something like that.
And so many of us think that, and yet so many of us end up in that state even so.
Yeah, I mean, it's incurable. He knows that. We've been honest with him. I mean, he wanted to know, but
somehow he just doesn't seem to quite believe it.
I suppose not.
And he remains incurable, and yet he also remains stubbornly alive.
He's not in pain. Not all the time.
No! And we can't cure him, and we can tell him that we can't cure him, and he will die. And let's be honest with each other, John, as attractive as euthanasia is, it's a minefield. It's not going to happen here, not anytime soon. I mean, we're not the fucking Swiss. We don't have the luxury of consensus, or that inbuilt passivity, or the solace of luxury chocolate. There are too many opinions. Our political discourse is too volatile, so we rub up against the unpalatable truth. Which is why you're here, John, and why this pilot, this program exists.
I just thought, I don't want to make any commitments at this stage. I just want to find out about the options.
John, don't be afraid to admit it. Do not be afraid to admit why you're here.
I just never thought it'd take this long.
Oh, never used to, John. Pain relief has a lot to answer for. But it's out there. It's out there, and it works. And since it works, what are we to do? Stop using it? No? Ban it? Withhold it?
Jesus, no!
No, John, because that would be barbaric. Which leads us to the sad but necessary admission. I'll say it. Watching someone you love die, or anyone die, is fundamentally extremely fucking boring. Don't you agree?
I want him to be comfortable.
I know. I know. But it's all right to admit it. It's not selfish to admit it. Just the two of us here.
No. Yes, it's boring.
Which is why we created this program. I mean, I know it's just this one hospital for now, but the results are adding up, John. I know that it feels so isolating, but you're blazing a trail. He's not going to notice. I mean, they rarely do anyway. And when he finally dies, the results are saying that those left behind require less aftercare, suffer less depression, return to a normal, healthy life more readily and quickly. I'm not going to pretend that it isn't more beneficial to have you more productive, John. I'm not going to pretend that one of the most pleasing aspects is that in the results of his eventual death, you use up fewer resources. I'm not going to pretend that. And you know what? You just have to admit it's better for you in the long run. It's better for you. I mean, and your father. Look at him. He won't even notice. They rarely do. Particularly with all the drugs they're on these days. Half of them are already hallucinating by the stage your father's at, and the other half aren't far behind. We are making it as easy on him as we possibly can, John. And if you opt into this pilot, you'll lose nothing. But it'll make this whole fucking tedious process just that little bit less tedious for you.
And if I don't?
Nothing. You can choose not to do this and go back right now. Just simply go back to sitting with him in that room, watching him waste away, day after day of slow, incremental changes as he floats into oblivion. And you watch day after dragging day.
Okay, let's do it.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. But he won't know you've done it.
No, we'll make the changes while he's asleep. When he wakes up, he won't notice anything. But you will, John. And hopefully to your great benefit.
And if I don't?
We'll give it a day or two. No? We've got plenty of other options. We'll just work out what's available for you.
But first...
First, we put him in a clown suit, John. We always put them in a clown suit first, you know, with the makeup too, obviously. And if that doesn't work for you, we've got plenty of other options. We'll just find out the one that works best for you. Just sign there.
Right side